Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, January 18th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. First up, there was more chatter, ranking algorithm updates potentially at Google, Google Search around January 15th or so, 15th, 16th or so, whatever, it might be around there. The chatter has actually picked up a little bit over the past couple of days, so if you did see any ranking changes, you're not alone. Definitely take a look at that post. Again, unconfirmed. We haven't had a Google confirmed update in some time. We did an interesting post kind of summarizing a lot of the chatter from the SEO community, specifically in the drug rehab area. It's very interesting because the community around there basically talks about how it kind of is interesting how Google handles that specific niche. Some sites do well. There's lots of people probably playing a lot of games, a lot of new SEO techniques, if you want to call it that, maybe more black hat stuff. And it goes through a study of basically a site that ranked well for a few days, really well, for a brand new website, dropped off, it redirected somewhere else. It was doing some really weird stuff. So if you are in that industry or you want to take a look at this, it's very interesting stuff with this. I'm not going to go into too much detail in the video, but definitely take a look at that if you are looking at this more competitive spaces of SEO. I believe Google's getting ready to potentially punish a boatload of Google News publishers for violations or not providing enough value in their content. Danny Sullivan at Google published a Google blog post at the Webmaster blog basically discussing some hints and tips on succeeding in Google News in 2019, which is very interesting because Google's been saying, don't go ahead and update your stories to say you have a story about it on 2017 and 2018 and 2019. Don't go ahead and publish a new one saying SEO success that you wrote in 2018 to SEO success in 2019, and then go ahead and update a few of the characters and so forth. Google didn't do that, but I just find it interesting that the way Google titled that blog post. And basically, it went through stuff around read the Google News Publisher Center, make sure your headlines are clear and accurate, make sure your timestamps are correct, structured data, the data in there are correct, and don't go ahead and artificially freshen your stories like the 2018, 2019, stuff like that. Produce duplicate content that doesn't add value. Rewritten content, republished content. Again, stuff that doesn't add value. Going ahead and writing, I summarized what the Google blog post did over here, and then I added my thoughts based on some other information like what Danny Sullivan tweeted here. It basically said, this is a reminder that these are important guidelines to follow, which is an important part of publishing in Google News. And etc. We do take action on these violations. I kind of think, because a lot of the stuff in this blog post was about do not do this, do not do that. If you are doing this, make sure it does this. Make sure to look at our violations, follow the Webmaster guidelines, follow our content policies. And recently, the past, I guess, 4 months or so, there's been a lot of angst from a lot of Google News publishers saying, why am I not indexed, why am I not ranking? Potentially it's related to that. Potentially it's related to new Google Search Console notifications around manual actions that might go out in the next couple of weeks. I don't know. Maybe it's around algorithmic changes that are happening in Google News. I don't know. But it is interesting to see the timing on this, and maybe it means more than what it just says right there. Google fixed their knowledge panel hack, where you're able to actually make a knowledge panel come up for any query that you want. So who owns Google? I made my knowledge panel come up. That no longer works, so there's no way to bring that up anymore. It took Google almost 3 years to fix that issue. Not sure why. Google also patched an issue that is more recent, where if you set the future open dates, which they came out with a few months ago, you can actually change anybody's future open date and pretty much remove them from the Google local listings, pretty much hurting their business if they depend on Google local listings to drive business to their store. I was informed that it's fixed. It appears to be fixed. You can no longer go ahead and, as a user, update somebody's future local business listing, a future open business date in the Google local results, where it would actually impact them from ranking Google local. Google added some new features to the Google URL inspection tool in Google Search Console. Specifically, they added the HTTP response code for things like 200 response codes, 404s, etc. They now show you the page resources as well in these tabs. They also show you the JavaScript logs, and they also can even show you a screenshot of the actual page itself, like like a little screenshot of how pages rendered. All you have to do is go to the URL inspection tool, type in a URL, click on view crawl pages, and then you get this new thing over here, which gives you a little bit more information. So definitely take a look at that. It's pretty cool. And Google keeps adding more and more features to the Google URL inspection tool. One thing to note, it doesn't seem to handle 301 redirects in that tool. So if you are trying to get a 301 redirect response code from the tool, I don't think it's going to work. I tried it myself. I couldn't get it to work. It might be a bug, or it might not be a feature they support. But it does seem that Google may replace the Fetch as Google tool in the old Google Search Console with this URL inspection tool. It makes sense that it would, because pretty much all the features in the Fetch as Google tool is now pretty much in the URL inspection tool. So that does make sense, and kind of John Mueller kind of hinted that it does make sense as well. It seems like Google stopped testing the domain properties feature, which is pretty much the same thing as search properties or property sets in the Google Search Console. They had a new feature. They were testing something called domain property, which lets Google smartly combine properties, your domain like www versus non-www, HTTP versus HTTPS, etc., into one property. So you can look at that in Google Search Console. It seems Google stopped testing it, or maybe they're going to be rolling out something. It doesn't make it. The help document around that has been removed, so we're not sure why. Still, this bugs me. It's not new news. It's old news. Is from 3 years ago. But basically, if you have an app like Search Engine Roundtable app, and you have AMP, like the Search Engine Roundtable has a canonical version of AMP. If you are searching in Google and you land on a Search Engine Roundtable listing in Google on mobile, and you click on it, even if you have the app and you click on it, you'll go to the AMP page, not the app page. And there's no way for a webmaster or publisher to say, I'd rather the user who has installed my app to go to the app as opposed to going to the AMP URL. And I wish they had that. I've been asking for it for a couple of years at least, and it has not happened. Google has said if the EU passes Article 11, Article 13, it will result in a ghost town-like search result experience for European searchers. They provided these screenshots to Search Engine Land. Greg Sterling did a great write-up about it. And it basically looks like a ghost town. There's no real snippets outside of the page name, the name of the publication, Daily Star, BBC News, Sky News, Telegraph, and the URL with no snippets, no images, no nothing. It's like a ghost town. It looks pretty embarrassing. I think Google's setting it up to say, hey, do you really want this? The EU, do you really want your search results to look like this? Google, it's funny, I covered this last week, but basically Google said that they turned off comments for the Google Webmaster blog. Okay, we knew that last week. And then I did a blog post kind of hinting at it on Search Engine Land that Google really, the no-follow attribute was specifically designed. If you look back at Google's original blog post in 2005 about why Google made the no-follow attribute for links, was to help comments survive on blogs, to reduce the amount of spam and link spam and irrelevant content that you might see on blogs because people are spamming blog comments because they want links. Now, that hasn't helped. The no-follow attribute has not, I mean, it may have reduced link spam on comments, but the amount of link spam that if you own a blog that has comments and active, you will see how much spam you get with links and without links, or mostly with links, because people don't care. Do follow, no follow, whatever. They just don't care, and they will spam your site until forever. Even you could be dead and your blog will be live and you'll still get spammed. I spend about 20, 30 minutes a day just dealing with spam, and I have a great Discuss is a great platform for managing comments and so forth. I love it. And it handles most of spam, but it doesn't handle everything. And I basically said that Google's initial reason for no follow attribute on the links didn't help improve comments. I'm sorry about that. It just didn't help. And that's what I said. And I know Gary from Google got upset with me for saying that, but it is what it is. Google has incentivized, seems to be incentivizing ad partners to use automation, which is interesting because ad partners shouldn't be incentivized to use Google features. It should be incentivized to perform. And that's what Kirk Williams is saying, that anyone basically saying, oh, you should use search automation and you'll earn cookies or you'll earn swag or whatever it might be. And it upsets him because you shouldn't be tied to using Google features that might not help your clients. You should be tied to performance metrics and actually how you are helping your clients. And that's his problem with that. And finally, John Mueller said he's going to be hosting, God willing, 2 different events at Google New York City. He's rarely in the New York office. He posted that he will be doing a Tuesday, 6:30 p.m., this January 22nd. 4 to 5 people can come in person to do a webmaster hangout, an office hangout. And then on Thursday, he hopes to host a 20-person or so meetup, January 24th at 6:30 p.m. in the Google New York City office. I hope to be at the Thursday event. I cannot be at the Tuesday event, but we will see. Anyway, if you're able to come, definitely take a look at that blog post. It'll tell you how to communicate to John that you want to come. Obviously, there's very limited space. I doubt everybody will be able to make it. I hope he lets me in. And if I am there, I will report on it, and I really appreciate everybody listening to this. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Bombs video recap. My name, again, is Barry Schwartz, and this is search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. Today, again, is Friday, January 18th. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.